Delivery and the local government elections are some of the top issues that are being discussed at the two-day Mpumalanga ANC General Council held in Mbombela. The meeting is also attended by members of the National Executive Committee of the ANC who've called for unity in the province. Newzroom Africa's Mweli Masilela is following that story for us. Mweli, very good morning to you. Now, the Secretary General of the ANC, Mbalula, addressed members of the party there yesterday. What was the key messaging that he directed to delegates?
So, Katleko, the key message coming from the Secretary General, Mbalula, representing the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress, was that Mpumalanga should unite in as far as party structures are concerned, looking into the fact that there's been a bit of disagreements in as far as leadership is concerned at regional conferences, even though all those three conferences in Ehlanzeni, Gangala, as well as in Habsibande became successful at the end, but there are some of those members of the party that were not happy in as far as processes leading up to the conferences are concerned. But of course, Mbalula, they're emphasizing that as leadership of the ANC at national level, they are happy with Mpumalanga, because when you look at those conferences, it shows that as much as there were those differences there and there, at the end of the day, there were efforts to ensure that leaders as well as other members in those party structures are united at the end of the day. And he went as far as suggesting that Mpumalanga deserves to hold the provincial conference as early as possible, making an example that if possible that conference should be held in January, and looking into the issue of service delivery, actually saying that as much as there's been a lot that has been done, more still needs to be done. Leaders in different areas, especially councillors and mayors, should actually prioritize the work of the party. And that message, Katlego, actually didn't end to the issues of the province. He even took it to the national level to say that there are some members of the National Executive Committee of the ANC that are deployed in different provinces, but they are not showing up when you look into the work of the ANC. So he says that's something that must stop. People must be on the ground looking into the fact that next year there's local government elections. And in Mpumalanga, for example, when you look into the previous national elections, actually last year, Mpumalanga obtained 51% compared to over 70% in the 2019 elections. And when you look into that, it's about 20% decline in as far as the vote is concerned. But of course, Mbalula saying that looking at what is happening on the ground, the show of unity in the province, it's promising that perhaps Mpumalanga, in as far as the ANC is concerned, it will gain its lost ground. Let's just take a listen to what he had to say.
But I don't see what is stopping us from having a provincial conference, because we're going to fight a difficult election and we must fight to win. And we're going to win here in Mpumalanga. And we see that win coming, because you comrades are organized. There is no province that is perfect. There is no province that is not without its difficulties. But what we are seeing in Mpumalanga, it's a determination. And that determination must be rewarded.
So Mbalula also weighed in on issues of national interest. You'll know that there's quite a lot unfolding at the national stage. You look into the issue of the Madlanga Commission as well as the parliamentary ad hoc committee in terms of those developments. Mbalula saying that he's actually happy that at the end of the day there was the establishment of the Madlanga Commission, even though he has got some reservations in terms of what is unfolding there. He believes that some of the issues that have been brought up, they might at the end of the day compromise national security, saying that those who are presiding over this process must ensure that they are very strict in terms of what happens there. But of course, saying that President Cyril Ramaphosa did well by deciding to establish that commission, because those allegations that were raised by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi had a potential of actually dividing the country, and anything could happen. So he believes that indeed after the establishment of this commission, some of those issues might be attended to thoroughly, and people will be satisfied at the end of the day. But of course, when you look into the issue of corruption, emphasizing to the members and leaders of the ANC attending this particular Provincial General Council to say that if members of the ANC are implicated in wrongdoing, it's upon themselves to come out and explain themselves, and they won't allow a situation whereby some of these leaders of the African National Congress who are actually implicated in corruption, they now mobilize support to be supported in court as they attend those things. So he's saying that that time is over, and members of the ANC should bring back the dignity of the African National Congress, so that at least as they go to the elections, and this even those who are deployed in public positions, they are people who can be trusted by members of society. Let's take a listen.
Revolution has reached a stage in which we must not only tell truth to each other, but we must be firm. And that is why we took decisions like step aside. Comrades, when they are not just implicated, but arrested. When you are implicated into something which you know where now is not true, and you're not going to be on step aside, you must clarify yourself in public. It's not me. Don't allow wrong things to be said about you and you keep quiet. You must clarify.
So, Katlego, today it's the last day of this Provincial General Council, and we've seen already some of the leaders of the ANC in the province, including the Secretary Muzi Chirwa, as well as the Deputy Chairperson Speed Mashilo, are already here. So we're expecting that perhaps in 30 minutes time, those members of the ANC who are delegates here will come through, so that they continue with those deliberations in terms of mapping a way forward as to what are some of the key priorities that they should take in order to address some of those challenges raised by citizens, as well as some of those residents of Mpumalanga, especially when you look into the issue of local government.
Well, it certainly is a very critical time for the ANC, Mweli, especially in the province of Mpumalanga.